بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. So our parable for today will also be from Surah An-Nahl like yesterday, but this will be towards the end of the surah. And it's one that is very particular for us in the situation that we're in of Ramadan. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّتِي نَقَضَتْ غَزْلَهَا مِنْ بَعْدِ قُوَّةٍ أَنْكَاثًا تَتَّخِذُونَ أَيْمَانَكُمْ دَخَلًا بَيْنَكُمْ أَنْ تَكُونَ أُمَّةٌ هِيَ أَرْبَى مِنْ أُمَّةٍ إِنَّمَا يَبْلُوَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِهِ وَلَيُبَيِّنَنَّ لَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ مَا كُنْتُمْ فِيهِ تَخْتَلِفُونَ. So it's just the first part of this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, do not be like a woman, or do not be like the woman who foolishly unraveled her yarn after she spent so much time in putting it together, raveling it, or tying it, piecing it together. So if you've ever seen, let's take this for example, like this shawl. This was originally thread. It was just thread. It was single pieces of fabric, and in order for it to be put together, someone had to, or nowadays it's factory made, but someone would have to individually put all of the pieces together, and then weave them through. So you make one line of all of the threads going this way, and then you have to make them go this way as well, so that it's tight, and then it doesn't just come apart. This takes a very long time. Now with factories and stuff, it's mass produced. It's not the same thing, but before they used to do that with hands. If you have a handmade carpet or rug or blanket or something like that, you'll see the difference in quality as well. Usually handmade things are so much better. And at the same time, they're also much more expensive. Why? It takes so much time to make. It takes so much time to make. Right? So one piece of fabric, like one item like this, could take months. It could take months to make. So imagine putting all of this together, this entire shawl, every single part of it, until it's fully made, and then bit by bit undoing it, taking each piece of yarn out, each string out one by one, until it's nothing anymore. So you put in all of that effort, and then afterwards you just take it out. Who would do something like that? Someone who's crazy. Someone who's crazy, essentially. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, don't be like that person. Don't be like that woman who spent all of that time putting together the fabric and then just undoes all of it at the end. Why would Allah tell us to do something like that? What is the benefit here? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us, don't put in all of your effort for whatever you're doing only for you to undo the effects of that afterwards. Now there are many different things, right? Things like, as Allah goes through in the Quran, He'll talk about shirk and kufr. What does shirk and kufr do? If you were to live your entire life as a good Muslim who did every single thing that you're supposed to do, all of your actions, but then you die as a kafir, may Allah protect us from that, then on the Day of Judgment, all of your actions will be worthless. Same thing goes for someone who is constantly, no matter how many good deeds they do, they backbite. They backbite, or they take the rights of other people. So on the Day of Judgment, even though they thought that they had all of these good deeds, they prayed all of this, they read all this Quran, they gave all of this charity, on the Day of Judgment, they stand in front of Allah, and what happens? Bankrupt. There's nothing left. Because the currency of the Day of Judgment is what? Deeds, actions. That's it. No money. It's only actions. So if you yourself have backbitten so much, you are in debt to the person that you backbit. So they have the right to claim their debt, to take from you. And the only thing you can give them are your good deeds. And amongst many other things, and I'll come back to one very, very important one towards the end, inshallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, don't put in all of this effort only for you to undo it. Now, the yarn that's talked about here is similar to the actions of the believer. Is the action of the believer. Now, if you have just one string like this at the end, how strong is this? It's very weak. So if I was to pull on it very, very hard, it would eventually rip, right? But when all of this is put together, how difficult is it then to rip it apart? Very difficult. So Allah says at the beginning, He teaches us through this, the process of doing the yarn, of putting it together into one fabric, is like doing good deeds. It's like actions. One action alone is nothing. But when you put so many good actions together, it becomes something so structured, something so strong, that it cannot be dismantled easily. Okay? So putting all of that fabric together is like doing a lot of good deeds, and this is what the believer is like. But then what is it about the end that we should focus on? Allah says, don't do all of those good deeds only for you to undo it. Only for you to undo it. Why is this very appropriate for our circumstances right now? Because a lot of times what we do is, in the month of Ramadan, we go from, in Sha'ban, we were maybe at 50%. And then in Ramadan, we go to 150%, only for when Shawwal comes, we go back down to 50%. And this is unraveling all of the hard work you've done. This is unraveling all of the hard work that you have done. You have put in all of the effort in Ramadan that every night you came to pray Isha in the masjid. And then after that you stood for an hour or hour and a half in Taraweeh. And then you went home. And then every morning you woke up at a specific time so that you could eat or pray. And then you came to the masjid for Fajr. And you did this over and over and over again over the course of 30 days. Only for Eid to come, and then right after that, you unravel it and undo all of the habits that you've built. You undo all of it. Because it takes that month for you to solidify and make it a part of your habit, and make it a part of your schedule and your personality to do these things. But then by the time Shawwal ends, and you have stopped doing those things, you undo all of that progress that you have made. So Allah is telling us through this, don't undo all of that by stopping the good deeds that you have done. Now, are you realistically going to be able to pray for an hour and a half every single night? No. Ramadan comes with a specific barakah. And we are able to do things in Ramadan that is not as easy for us to do outside of the month of Ramadan. Now, it's not impossible, but it's not as easy for us to do after Ramadan. But if you are able to pray for an hour and a half after Isha, can't you pray for 10 minutes? If you prayed witr every single night, can't you pray witr again? If it's only going to take you a few extra minutes? If you woke up every single night for suhoor, can't you wake up at least once a week for tahajjud? If you came to the masjid every single day in Ramadan, can't you come at least once a week after Ramadan is over? If you fasted for 30 consecutive days, can't you fast at least a few more times throughout the year? It's not about continuing, but it's about not completely stopping everything so that you undo all of the progress that you made in the month of Ramadan. And this is serious, because Allah has shown us our ability. So if we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He says, why didn't you do more to get more Jannah, or to free yourself from a deeper level of the hellfire? How can we say to Allah, I wasn't able to do it? Because Allah has showed us in the month of Ramadan what we are actually capable of doing. It's about priorities. It's about scheduling and intentionally doing certain things so that they continue after the month of Ramadan. And one of the ways, other than kufr and shirk and backbiting, that actions are undone, is by reminding other people of the good that you have done. This is another way where you unravel your deeds. This is what I said I would come back to. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَلَا تُبْطِلُوا صَدَقَاتِكُمْ بِالْمَنِّ وَالْأَذَى. Don't nullify the good that you have done by mentioning it. Don't undo the good deeds that you have done. Meaning the sadaqah here is the charity that you give to someone, by bringing it back up. This is something that happens far too often. Things are supposed to remain between us and Allah, no matter who we do it for. So nowadays, we give charity, or we volunteer our time somewhere, and we have to take a picture and post it on social media. I did this today, I did that. I came to the masjid and I did this with the carpets. I vacuumed today. I gave, I helped some people out. I did whatever. And you take pictures and you post it for everyone to see. Or there's a brother in the community who needs help. He's struggling financially, so you give him a job. But every single time you see him, you remind him, hey, remember I gave you that job. Oh, why are you not only doing this? You should do even more than this, because now I'm giving you money. And you make them feel bad about the favor that you have given to them. Allah says the people who do this nullify all of the things that they do. They nullify the good deeds that they've done. The other person will continue to receive your charity, the job that's paying them, the food boxes that they receive, the help with rent. They'll keep receiving that, but you will receive absolutely nothing, because you put in all of that effort to weave your yarn, only for you to undo all of that by mentioning it to them. The mere mention, if a person feels something in their heart, the mere mention of it makes you lose all of your deeds. The best action for the Muslim: continue to do your good deeds and keep them silent between you and Allah. Silent between you and Allah. If no one else knows about them, that's okay, because Allah never forgets. But the mere mention of one thing to another person could jeopardize any reward that you might have gotten from that action. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our ibadah, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us sincere in the actions that we do, and to forgive us for any insincerity that we show, and to forgive us for the sins that we commit. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Yes. Sorry? Surah Al-Nahl. Surah Al-Nahl. 92. 92. Oh yeah. Assalamu alaikum.